Life is not meant to break you. It is meant to shape you. Every trial, every heartbreak, and every storm is not a sign of your failure, but a test of your resilience. The strongest souls are forged in the fire of adversity, and the chosen ones are not those who have never struggled, but those who refuse to give up. Have you ever wondered why your journey has been so difficult? Why doors are closed, people have left, and hardships keep piling up? It is because your purpose is greater than you can imagine. The enemy does not attack what is weak. He attacks what is powerful. Your struggles are not proof that God has abandoned you. They are proof that He is preparing you for something extraordinary. The question is, will you break under the pressure, or will you rise stronger than ever? God's love is the most powerful and unwavering force in the universe. It does not change based on circumstances, mistakes, or failures. Unlike human love, which is often conditional and based on expectations, God's love remains constant, no matter what. Even when you feel lost, unworthy, or abandoned, His love surrounds you like an invisible shield, protecting you from despair. It is not something you have to earn, nor is it something you can lose. His love is a divine gift, freely given to you from the moment of your existence. Just as the sun continues to shine even on the cloudiest days, God's love continues to pour into your life, even when you cannot see it. When you truly understand the depth of this love, fear begins to fade and hope takes its place. The world can be a cruel place. People may betray you, loved ones may leave, and society may judge you based on your past, but God never does. He sees beyond your mistakes and imperfections. He sees your heart, your struggles, and your true potential. No matter how many times you fall, He is always there, ready to lift you up. Think of a parent guiding a toddler learning to walk. Every time the child stumbles, the parent does not scold or abandon them. Instead, they encourage them to get back up. In the same way, God does not turn away from you when you make mistakes. He lovingly guides you back onto the right path. Even when you run from Him, He waits patiently for your return, just like the father in the story of the prodigal son. His arms are always open, ready to embrace you with mercy and grace. One of the greatest proofs of God's unconditional love is His willingness to forgive. The world often holds grudges, but God does not keep a record of your past wrongs. The moment you turn to Him with sincerity, He wipes away your mistakes as if they never happened. This kind of love is beyond human understanding. It is a love that does not hold resentment, does not seek revenge, and does not demand perfection. It simply loves. Many people struggle to believe that they are worthy of such love because they measure it by human standards. But God's love is not like human love. It is infinite, unbreakable, and eternal. Nothing you do can make Him love you more, and nothing you do can make Him love you less. In times of suffering and loneliness, it is God's love that gives you the strength to move forward. When everything seems to fall apart, when relationships break, when dreams shatter, when life feels empty, it is His love that fills the void. Even in your darkest moments, when you feel abandoned by the world, God is with you. His presence is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes, it is the quiet peace that calms your soul, the unexpected kindness from a stranger, or the unexplainable hope that keeps you going. His love is woven into every aspect of your life, even when you fail to recognize it. Every sunrise is a reminder that He has given you a new day, a new opportunity, a fresh start. Every breath you take is a testament to His unwavering care for you. Perhaps the most beautiful aspect of God's love is that it transforms you. When you fully embrace the reality that you are deeply loved by the Creator of the universe, you begin to see yourself differently. You no longer feel the need to seek approval from others, because you know that you are already accepted by God. You no longer define yourself by your past mistakes, because you understand that His love has made you new. This realization gives you the courage to rise above self-doubt, fear, and insecurity. It empowers you to love others, not out of a need for validation, but because you have been filled with divine love yourself. You become a reflection of God's love to the world, spreading kindness, forgiveness, and hope wherever you go. Many people search for love in all the wrong places, through relationships, achievements, material possessions, only to end up feeling empty. That is because human love, no matter how deep, is still imperfect. It can fade, it can be taken away, and it can fail. But God's love is everlasting. It does not depend on circumstances or emotions. It is the one thing in life that is truly unshakable. When you build your foundation on His love, nothing can break you. No rejection, no failure, no hardship can take away the love that God has for you. It is this love that sustains you, that carries you through the storms of life, and that gives you the courage to keep moving forward, even when everything seems impossible. So, no matter what you have been through, no matter how many times you have fallen, know this. You are deeply, unconditionally, and eternally loved by God. His love is your refuge in times of trouble, your strength when you feel weak, and your hope when all seems lost. Embrace it, live in it, and let it guide you toward the purpose He has planned for you. Faith is the bridge between what is seen and what is unseen. It is the unwavering belief that even when life does not make sense, God is still in control. Many people struggle with faith because they want to see immediate results, clear answers, and tangible evidence before they trust. But true faith is about believing without seeing, walking without knowing the full path, and trusting that God is working behind the scenes even when everything feels uncertain. Just as a seed must be buried in darkness before it grows into a mighty tree, faith requires you to trust in the unseen process, knowing that something greater is coming. When life feels confusing and unpredictable, it is faith that becomes your anchor, keeping you steady in the midst of the storm. There will be times when God's plan does not align with your expectations. You may pray for something, only to receive silence. You may hope for one path, only to be redirected to another. This is where faith is truly tested. When nothing seems to go according to your plans, but you choose to trust God's plan instead. It is easy to have faith when everything is going well, but real faith is built in the moments of uncertainty, struggle, and waiting. Think of Abraham, who was promised a great nation, but had to wait for years before seeing the first sign of that promise. Think of Joseph, who was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and thrown into prison before finally stepping into his divine destiny. If they had lost faith in the process, they would have never seen the fulfillment of God's promises. Faith does not mean you will never face trials. It means you will have the strength to endure them. It means believing that even when the doors are closed, even when the answers do not come immediately, God is still working for your good. Many times, what seems like a delay is actually divine preparation. The job you didn't get, the relationship that didn't work out, the dream that seemed to fall apart. These are not rejections, but redirections. God sees the bigger picture. He knows what is best for you, even when you cannot understand it in the moment. The detours in your life are not wasted time. They are shaping you, preparing you, and leading you to something far greater than you could have imagined. One of the hardest parts of faith is surrendering control. As humans, we want to plan every detail of our lives, make sure everything is secure, and avoid uncertainty at all costs. But faith requires you to let go and trust that God knows better. It is like stepping onto a bridge covered in fog. You cannot see the other side, but you trust that it is there. Faith is choosing to believe that even in the waiting, even in the struggle, even in the silence, God is working on something extraordinary for you. It is the deep assurance that His timing is perfect, even when it does not match your own. The moment you stop trying to control everything and start trusting in Him, you will experience a peace that surpasses all understanding. Doubt is a natural part of the faith journey, but it should never overpower your belief. Even the strongest believers have moments of fear and uncertainty. Peter walked on water toward Jesus, but the moment he focused on the waves instead of his faith, he began to sink. This is a powerful lesson. When you fix your eyes on God, you will rise above your circumstances, but when you let fear take over, you will begin to sink under the weight of your worries. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to trust God despite the fear. It is standing firm, even when your mind is filled with questions. It is declaring that no matter what happens, you will not lose hope because your trust is in the one who never fails. Faith transforms the way you see challenges. Instead of viewing difficulties as obstacles, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth. Every hardship is a chance to strengthen your faith, to deepen your trust in God, and to witness His power in your life. When you look back at your journey, you will realize that the struggles you once thought would break you were actually the moments that shaped you the most. They refined you, strengthened you, and brought you closer to God. Just like gold is purified through fire, your faith is purified through trials. The more you trust in Him, the stronger your faith becomes, and the more unshakable you will be in the face of adversity. God rewards those who trust Him completely. When you step out in faith, even when you do not see the full picture, He meets you in that place of trust and leads you to blessings beyond your imagination. Think of the Israelites standing before the Red Sea, with an army behind them and no visible way forward. In that moment, their faith was tested, but when they trusted God, He made a way where there was none. The same is true for you. When you choose faith over fear, God will part the seas in your life, open doors you never expected, and lead you to places you never dreamed possible. So, no matter what you are facing today, whether it is uncertainty about your future, delays in your dreams, or struggles that seem impossible, hold on to faith. Trust that God is with you, guiding you, and preparing something incredible for you. The journey may not always be easy, but if you walk in faith, you will see miracles unfold before your eyes. Keep believing, keep trusting, and never forget that God's plan is always greater than your own. Fear is one of the greatest obstacles that prevents people from fully stepping into their divine purpose. It whispers doubts, magnifies uncertainties, and keeps you trapped in the illusion of safety. But faith and fear cannot coexist. Where there is faith, fear loses its power, and where fear dominates, faith weakens. To truly trust God's plan, you must break free from the chains of fear and embrace the courage that comes from walking in divine confidence. One of the biggest fears people face is the fear of the unknown. The human mind craves certainty, predictability, and control, but faith requires stepping into the unknown with nothing but trust in God. This is why so many people hesitate when they feel called to something greater. Whether it is a new path, a big decision, or a leap of faith, the uncertainty of the future makes them afraid. But when God calls you, He does not reveal the entire journey at once. He asks you to take the first step in faith, and as you move forward, He unveils the next step. Abraham had to leave his home and go to a land God promised him, without knowing where it was or how he would get there. Moses had to stand before the Red Sea with an entire nation behind him, trusting that God would make a way. If they had allowed fear to hold them back, they would have never seen the miracles God had in store for them. Fear thrives on what-ifs. What if I fail? What if I am not good enough? What if things do not work out? These questions can be paralyzing, keeping you stuck in a place of doubt and hesitation. But what if, instead of focusing on the worst possible outcome, you trusted that God is leading you towards something greater? What if you believe that no matter what happens, you are exactly where you need to be? Fear tries to convince you that failure is the end, but faith reminds you that every challenge is a stepping stone toward your destiny. Even if things do not go as planned, God has the power to redirect, restore, and use every setback for your ultimate good. The enemy uses fear as a tool to keep people from fulfilling their divine purpose. He knows that if he can fill your mind with doubts, insecurities, and worries, you will hesitate and delay the path God has prepared for you. But the moment you decide to stop listening to fear and start walking in faith, you break the enemy's hold on your life. Fear wants you to believe that you are not capable, but faith declares that with God, all things are possible. Fear tells you to stay where it is safe, but faith pushes you beyond your comfort zone into the realm of miracles. Fear tells you to wait until everything is certain, but faith calls you to move even when you cannot see the full picture. Many people fear rejection, failure, and judgment from others. They worry about what people will think, how they will be perceived, and whether they will be accepted. But living for the approval of others is a prison, and fear of judgment will keep you from stepping into your true calling. Jesus himself was rejected by many, misunderstood by the religious leaders, and ridiculed by those who did not believe. Yet he remained unwavering in his mission, because he knew that his purpose was greater than the opinions of people. The same applies to you. If you allow the fear of rejection to control you, you will never step into the fullness of your divine calling. You were not created to fit in. You were created to stand out, to shine, and to fulfill a purpose that only you can accomplish. Breaking free from fear requires a shift in mindset. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, focus on the power of God working within you. Instead of dwelling on your weaknesses, focus on his strength. Every great person of faith in the Bible had fears, but they did not allow those fears to stop them. David faced Goliath, not because he had no fear, but because he had greater faith in God's power. Esther risked her life to save her people, not because she was fearless, but because she trusted that God had placed her in that position for a reason. When you focus on God's power instead of your fears, you begin to walk in a supernatural confidence that cannot be shaken. Fear is a liar. It tells you that you are not enough, that you will fail, that you are alone. But the truth is, you are never alone. God is with you in every step, in every moment of doubt, in every battle you face. His presence surrounds you, his strength upholds you, and his wisdom guides you. The moment you realize that you do not have to rely on your own strength, but can fully depend on God, fear begins to lose its grip. You no longer have to figure everything out on your own, because you serve a God who holds the universe in his hands. Walking in faith does not mean you will never feel fear. It means you will not allow fear to control you. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to move forward despite it. The greatest breakthroughs in life come when you step out in faith, trusting that God will provide, protect, and lead the way. When Peter stepped out of the boat and walked on water, he did something impossible. Not because he had no fear, but because he chose to trust Jesus more than he feared the storm. The moment he shifted his focus to the waves, he began to sink. This is a powerful lesson. When you keep your eyes on God, you can do the impossible. But when you focus on fear, you begin to sink under the weight of your worries. Fear may try to creep into your mind, but you have the power to reject it. Declare God's promises over your life. Remind yourself that he has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Speak life over your circumstances. Stand firm in your faith, and refuse to let fear dictate your decisions. Every time you step out in faith, you grow stronger. Every time you trust God despite the uncertainties, you build unshakable confidence. And every time you overcome fear, you step closer to the destiny God has prepared for you. So, do not let fear hold you back any longer. Do not let it steal your joy, delay your blessings, or keep you from living the life God has designed for you. Take the leap, step out in faith, and trust that he will catch you. You are stronger than you think, braver than you realize, and equipped with everything you need to fulfill your divine purpose. Walk boldly, knowing that fear has no power over you, because you serve a God who is greater than anything you will ever face. Keep moving forward, keep trusting, and never forget, fear is temporary, but faith leads to eternal victory. One of the greatest challenges in life is waiting. Waiting for prayers to be answered, dreams to manifest, and breakthroughs to arrive. In a world that glorifies instant gratification, patience can feel like a test of endurance. But divine timing is not about delays or denials. It is about preparation and alignment. God's timing is always perfect, even when it does not align with human expectations. When you trust his divine schedule, you step into a flow where everything unfolds at the right moment, in the right way, for the highest good. Many people struggle with impatience because they do not see immediate results. They pray, work, and hope, but when nothing happens, doubt begins to creep in. Has God forgotten me? Am I not worthy? Did I make a mistake? These questions can lead to frustration, causing people to force things before the appointed time. But just like a seed needs time to grow beneath the soil before breaking through the surface, God is working behind the scenes in ways that are not always visible. Every season of waiting is a season of preparation. If you receive a blessing too soon, before you are ready to handle it, it can turn into a burden rather than a gift. That is why God refines, strengthens, and equips you during the waiting period, so that when His promises manifest, you can fully embrace and sustain them. The Bible is filled with examples of divine timing. Joseph had a dream of greatness, but he had to endure betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment before stepping into his destiny as a ruler in Egypt. Each trial prepared him for the leadership he was destined for. If he had become a ruler too soon, he might not have had the wisdom and resilience needed to govern effectively. Similarly, David was anointed as king when he was still a young shepherd boy, but he had to go through years of trials, battles, and growth before he could take the throne. These stories remind us that God does not rush. He develops, refines, and positions His chosen ones for greatness at the right time. One of the hardest things to accept is when doors remain closed despite your efforts. You may knock, pray, and try to push forward, but nothing seems to work. This can be discouraging, making you feel as though you are stuck or forgotten. But what if that closed door is God's protection? What if He is saving you from something that is not aligned with your purpose? Many people force their way into relationships, jobs, or opportunities that are not meant for them, only to realize later that it was not what they truly needed. When you trust in divine timing, you understand that delays are often blessings in disguise. What is meant for you will never pass you by, and what is not meant for you will never be forced to stay. Trusting God's timing requires surrender. It means letting go of the need to control every detail and allowing Him to orchestrate events according to His perfect wisdom. This does not mean passively waiting without action. It means preparing yourself while allowing God to open the right doors at the right time. If you are waiting for a relationship, focus on becoming the best version of yourself rather than chasing after love. If you are waiting for a career breakthrough, keep developing your skills and trusting that the right opportunity will come. When you align your actions with faith, you position yourself to receive blessings that are divinely timed and perfectly designed for you. The enemy often uses impatience to lead people astray. He whispers, "Why wait? Take matters into your own hands." This temptation can cause people to settle for less than what God has planned. Abraham and Sarah struggled with waiting for God's promise of a child, so they tried to take control by having a child through Hagar, Sarah's servant. This decision led to unnecessary complications and pain. But when God's timing finally arrived, He blessed them with Isaac, the promised child. This teaches us that when we rush ahead of God, we create unnecessary struggles. But when we wait, trust, and stay in alignment, His blessings come effortlessly. Divine timing is also about trusting that everything happens for a reason. Sometimes, life takes unexpected turns, setbacks, rejections, or sudden changes that seem unfair. But what if those very obstacles are part of God's plan to redirect you to something greater? What if the heartbreak that seemed unbearable was actually saving you from a future disaster? What if the job you lost was pushing you toward an opportunity far beyond what you imagined? When you believe that God's hand is in every detail, even disappointments become divine redirections. Patience is not just about waiting. It is about how you wait. Do you wait with faith, or do you wait with frustration? Do you trust the process, or do you constantly question it? When you choose faith over frustration, you develop inner peace. You stop comparing your timeline to others because you understand that your journey is unique. What God has for you is specifically designed for you, and it cannot be rushed, stolen, or altered by anyone else. Think of a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. If you try to force it out before it is ready, its wings will be weak, and it will never be able to fly. The struggle inside the cocoon is necessary for its strength. Likewise, your waiting season is strengthening you, preparing you, and molding you into the person who can handle the next level of blessings. Every challenge, every lesson, and every delay is part of the divine process. So, if you are in a season of waiting, take heart. God has not forgotten you. He is working in ways you cannot see, aligning everything perfectly. When the time is right, His blessings will come in a way that exceeds your expectations. You will look back and realize that every delay had a purpose, every closed door was protection, and every waiting season was preparation for something far greater than you imagined. Keep trusting, keep believing, and keep preparing. Divine timing is never late. It is always on time. And when your moment comes, it will be worth every second of the wait. Life is a journey filled with trials, and no one is exempt from struggles. However, it is not the hardships themselves that define us, but how we respond to them. Every obstacle, heartbreak, and challenge serves a divine purpose, shaping us into stronger, wiser, and more resilient individuals. Often, it is in the darkest moments that we discover the true depth of our strength and faith. When we endure trials with unwavering trust in God, we emerge victorious, not only for ourselves but as a beacon of hope for others. Many people believe that when they walk in alignment with God, life should be easy. They expect blessings to flow effortlessly and doors to open without resistance. But the reality is that those who are called for a higher purpose often face greater trials. Just like gold is refined in fire, a person's character is shaped through adversity. God allows challenges not to break us, but to build us. Every storm is an opportunity for growth. Every setback is a setup for something greater, and every hardship is a test of faith. Consider the biblical stories of those who face immense trials before stepping into their divine calling. Job was a man of great faith, yet he lost everything, his wealth, his health, and even his children. His friends doubted him, and his wife told him to curse God and die. Yet, Job remained steadfast, trusting that God had a greater plan. In the end, he was restored with even more than he had lost. His story serves as a reminder that trials are temporary, but God's faithfulness is eternal. Similarly, Jesus himself endured suffering beyond comprehension. He was betrayed, falsely accused, beaten, and crucified, yet he never wavered in his purpose. His greatest trial led to the greatest victory, redemption for all of humanity. If even the Son of God had to go through suffering to fulfill his divine mission, why should we expect our journey to be free from trials? Instead of questioning why hardships come, we must learn to ask, what is God teaching me through this? One of the most painful aspects of adversity is the feeling of isolation. When facing trials, it is easy to believe that no one understands, that you are alone in your suffering. But the truth is, God is always with you, even in the moments when you feel abandoned. He walks with you through the fire, strengthens you in your weakness, and reassures you that the storm will pass. Many times, when we look back on the hardest seasons of our lives, we realize that they were the moments when we grew the most. The relationships that ended, the doors that closed, the dreams that seemed to shatter, all of these were redirections leading us to something better. Trials also serve as a means of purification. When everything is going well, it is easy to become complacent, relying on our own strength rather than seeking God. But when we are stripped of comfort, when we have nothing left but faith, that is when we experience true transformation. Struggles reveal our weaknesses, but they also expose areas in our lives that need refinement. Pride is broken, patience is developed, and trust in God deepens. The very things that seem to break us are often the things that shape us into who we are meant to be. It is crucial to remember that pain is not permanent. No storm lasts forever, and no night is without a dawn. Many people give up too soon, believing that their suffering is endless. But breakthroughs often come right when we are about to quit. The enemy wants nothing more than to see you lose faith, to see you surrender to despair. But if you hold on, if you endure just a little longer, you will witness how God turns even the most painful situations into something beautiful. Faith in adversity is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about choosing to believe in God's promises even when circumstances seem hopeless. It is about standing firm in the midst of the storm, declaring, "I may not see a way out, but I trust that God has already made one." The battle is not yours alone. God fights for you, and His power is greater than any obstacle in your path. Moreover, trials are not just about personal growth. They are also about preparing you to help others. The wisdom gained through struggles equips you to guide and encourage those who face similar battles. Your testimony becomes a source of strength for others, proving that if God brought you through it, He can do the same for them. The people who make the greatest impact in the world are often those who have endured the most. Their pain became their purpose, their wounds became wisdom, and their scars became a testament to God's faithfulness. Adversity also teaches the power of surrender. When we let go of the need to control everything and allow God to take the lead, we experience true peace. Worrying, stressing, and overthinking does not change the situation, but trusting in God does. When you fully surrender to His plan, you stop resisting the process and start embracing the lessons. You begin to see trials not as punishments, but as divine opportunities for growth and transformation. In the end, overcoming trials is not just about surviving. It is about thriving. It is about emerging stronger, wiser, and more in tune with your divine purpose. Every tear, every hardship, and every challenge is a step closer to the destiny God has prepared for you. So, when trials come, do not fear. Stand firm, trust in God's plan, and know that victory is already written in your story. Your pain has a purpose. Your struggles are shaping you, and your faith will carry you through every storm. Keep going. The best is yet to come. No matter how fierce the storm, no matter how hopeless things seem, remember this. You are built for this. Every trial you face is a stepping stone toward your destiny. Do not lose faith. Do not let fear consume you, and do not give up. What you are going through now is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater. Hold on. Trust in God's timing and keep moving forward. Your breakthrough is coming. Your purpose is waiting. And when the dust settles, you will see that everything, the pain, the struggles, the setbacks, was leading you to your greatest victory. Your story is not over yet. Keep believing, keep fighting, and watch how God turns your trials into triumphs.